Hello. Today we're going to talk about prospecting and connecting, which I really feel is one of the biggest parts of this business. And it's really about becoming comfortable with how you're talking about it, being authentic to who you are, and really getting the information across to people in a way that they can get the information into themselves, process it, and then make a decision. So we're just going to pop over to the slides. That way we can just get started right away with prospecting and connecting. So you really have to have a system, and Susan Sly has done lots of trainings on having systems, and her Max Out training really focused this in that we need to have systems in place in order to build this business, and that's really why this website was created in the first place. So in prospecting and connecting, we need to have systems regarding recruiting people, how to do a three-way call, how to book appointments, launching new associates, getting people paid. All these things are systems that we need to have in place in order to duplicate what we're doing. We also need to have heart when we're prospecting and connecting. So we need to be authentic. When something doesn't, you're not telling the truth necessarily, or exaggerating, or not being true to who you are, it comes across and people are not going to believe what you're saying or want to be involved with you. So it really is important to be yourself and to persevere through and to prepare for the journey. So by preparing for the journey, that's why you're listening to these webinars. That's why you're focused on improving your skills. And then find out your why and paint the picture for the person. So find out your why, then find out their why, and then paint the picture for the person. And that's really what's going to ultimately lead to your success. Now, when we're building a rapport, which is one of the key things that we want to do, it's important that we find those similarities and we really do paint the picture. And in the words of Jimmy Smith, he said, "Be willing to do today what others won't, so you can do tomorrow what others can't." And I love this saying. It's one that I live by, is that I want to do the work now so that I can live the life that others can't later. And hopefully that's something that you take to heart and that really leads you on your way. When we're looking at what our goals are, is we want to enroll at least 2 to 4 people every month, and we want to help others do the same. Because for every 10 people who watch a video, 2 will enroll. And that's really key when you're planning how many people you want to connect with and how many people you need to talk to and prospect with. Is if you want to enroll 20 people, you have to be talking to more than 10 people, and more than 20 people, and more than 50 people. So it's really being clear on your numbers. The Business Builder Pack, the President's Pack, and the 30-day have the highest conversion rate to consultant. And when we just really even look at it, to cycle once, one time with the 9-day cleanse, you have to have 9 people enter your organization. But to cycle once with the President's Pack, you only need 3. So it really is advantageous to enroll people on the President's Packs. Now, when we're learning about our prospecting and connecting, we really need to follow this acronym of SAR. So you need to develop the skills. So the skills come from learning what other people do, watching what other people do, and then practicing what other people do, and then teaching someone else. That's how you really develop the skills. So you want to develop the skills. The next thing you have to do is actually do the activities. Right? It's fine to have all these dreams, ideas, goals. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But if you don't follow it up with action and activities, then it's really not going to get you anywhere. You also need to have the right attitude, so that's the right mindset. And this is why knowing your why is so important. So if you have not watched that webinar, please go back, really focus in on what your why is. Because this mindset is what's going to A, attract people into your organization, B, is going to keep you going through the long haul, and C, it's going to keep it fun for you. It's going to keep it exciting, and you're going to want to keep pursuing and building this business. And then the last thing, obviously, is we need to get results. And this SAR acronym is really what we're doing with prospecting and connecting. So how do we prospect and connect? The first thing we want to do is CAPI. And it's simply finding common ground, affirming, getting permission, and then sharing the Isagenix information. So common ground is really all about finding rapport with somebody. And because we like people who like what we do. And so one way to find common ground is to find something that you've both participated in or share a fact that you both believe in. So an example of that would be something like, wouldn't it be great to have a 2-day work week instead of 5 days? Or wouldn't it be great to have more family time, better health, lose weight, etc., etc.? So it's really about finding something in that common ground. So when we're also finding common ground, we can use the acronym FORM, which I'll be talking about in a moment, which is really family, our occupation, recreation, and then either money or mindset. The second thing we want to do is affirm. So when we're affirming, we want to let them know that we hear them. So it's going to be something like, you know, I hear what you're saying. I found it difficult to be working 5 days and raising a family. And then you're going to ask permission. So the best way to ask permission that I have found, and a lot of leaders share this one, is, can I tell you what worked for me? And most people do want to hear what worked for you. So it's really an easy thing. So the common ground might be something like, wouldn't it be great to just work 2 days instead of 5 days? Because I hear what you're saying. It's hard to work 5 days a week full time and look after the family. So can I tell you something that worked for me? And then you're going to share the Isagenix information. And when we're sharing it at this point, it should be a short, concise piece of information. So at this point, we could share the 30-second story, our 30-second story. We can also send them an email with some information on it. And usually at this point, I just direct them to isaproduct.com, isagenixhealth.net, and isamovie.com. So I pick out what on those websites would be important for that particular person, and I send the information to that person. And of course, just to remember, we are creating relationships, and we really want to add value, right? So it's really important. We want to use this common ground and this initial connection part of it to really discover, you know, what they need, what they want, because people don't like to be sold to, but they love to buy, right? So we've got to find out what's really their buying motive, if you want to call it, or what's really their driving force. What solution are we trying to solve for them? Okay, and you can have some emotion in this. We also want to make sure we're asking the right questions during this time, right? Because we want to really get down to what is it that they need help with? What are their challenges in life? What can we help solve for them? We also want to observe, right? Look for clues, things that you can relate to. You know, really look at maybe something that a mannerism they have, or how they're dressed, something that is similar to yourself. All of these things help you to find that common ground between both of you. So as I mentioned, you can use form. So family and friends, you know, that's one of the easiest things to sometimes find common ground in, or to chat about our occupations, our recreational stuff, so what we do in our spare time, and then money or our message. The solutions that Isagenix has, and this is just a few of them, but one thing I would suggest doing is getting a piece of paper and a pen and writing out all the solutions you think Isagenix has. And that way, when you are talking to people, you'll have these solutions in the back of your head, and you'll be able to pull them out. So ones that I've listed are weight loss, healthy aging, energy, sport performance, wealth creation, and belonging. But there's many different solutions. We could start talking about children's health. So empowering girls for healthy weight. We could talk about young teen boys in their sports world. So what solutions do you have that Isagenix can solve? Write down the list now. You can pause the webinar if you need to, but the greater your list is, let's face it, the more people you're going to be able to help, the more you're going to be able to widen your cast of people that you're going to catch. And it's really important to have this already figured out and not be doing it while you're trying to just chat with somebody. When we're producing and when we're prospecting and when we're connecting with people, our attitude needs to be catching. If you're ho-hum, like, hey, yeah, if you want to do this on a 30-day, and you don't really care about what's going on, then that's really going to come across in that person, and they're not going to be excited to do it. They're not going to really care one way or the other. So we need to have a catching kind of attitude, confidence, attraction. We want to exude passion and energy that people just want to latch on and say, you know what, I want to partner with you. You know, why are people successful in this business? Because they have something that people want. And it's not the tangible product necessarily of Isagenix. It can start that way, but then they see a bigger picture, and that person has something, the friendship, the energy, the passion, the excitement, and that's what draws them in. So step one is to connect with the person. And when we're connecting with the person, we're really just setting up the time to talk. So we're creating curiosity. So on Facebook, that's why we don't want to put, oh, I'm starting Isagenix and who wants to join me? Because that's not creating curiosity. That's just letting everybody know what you're doing. And that's not necessarily going to generate a huge amount of response into your business. So we can use social media and Facebook, and it would be a good idea to just watch the social media webinar to get a few ideas that I've learned from some of the other leaders on how to use social media and Facebook. And oureasytraining.com is one of those ways that we can really utilize what other people have done in Isagenix, and they have some great tools on Facebook for all of us to use. So I would highly recommend checking that out. Now, when we're connecting with people and when we're starting up with the conversation, I found and I've been trained that there's really 3 ways that we can go ahead and do this. So the first method is the practice method. So in this method, you could say something, I'm a little bit nervous to call you because, and there's a blank there because you're going to pop that in. So because you're such a great entrepreneur, you've owned businesses in the past, you've been successful, you've really been a mentor to me, but I wanted to call you because I just wanted to ask if you could listen to my 30-second story for a project I'm working about and get some feedback on that. So you're asking to practice with them. And obviously when you're practicing with them, you are going to be sharing the information, right? So it's really about practicing with them. The second method is the referral method. So this is when you're going to say something like, I am on a mission too. I'm looking for referrals. I really respect what you've done in your business. Perhaps you can help me, right? I'm so excited. I just started my business. I'm working with a company called Isagenix that is creating wealth for thousands of people, and I'm looking for 5 motivated people who want to replace their income. Do you know anyone? Or, I teach people how to create weekly cash flow and increase their bottom line in a down economy. Are you open to another stream of income? Do you know anybody else who is? So this is when we're asking them for referrals. Okay? We've been friends for a long time. Maybe you can help me. I just started my own business and I'm looking for some motivated people that are looking to change their position in life. Do you know anyone looking to make another $50,000 to $100,000 per year? Or you could say something like, I've come across something that I really need your opinion on. Do you have some time tonight around 8? It'll only take about 20 minutes. And can you be near your computer? That way, they are taking a look at it and you can ask for the referrals. People to consider approaching on the referral method are your friends and family, but people that are healthcare professionals, chiropractors, dental hygienists, dentists, also look at mortgage brokers, hairstylists, estheticians, people that have a business. This is a great method to use for them. And then finally, it's the direct ask. So this is when you're actually asking them, right? So you know how you were mentioning that you wanted to lose weight? Can I share something that worked for me? Or would you be interested in learning something that will take your health to the next level? How's your job going? Have you had any promotions lately? Are you open to taking a look at something that can make some extra income for you without leaving your current job? Maybe if you're on holidays, you could say, hey, you know, are you here on holiday or vacation? And are you are you open to looking at something that can create an immediate cash flow? You know, you could say something like, you're really good at what you do. I bet you get paid a lot of money for doing this. And then wait, be quiet, see how they answer that, and then you could say, well, I have something you would be incredible at. Can you talk tonight and be in front of your computer? So those are the different ways that you can really talk to people and start that appointment. Now, at the appointment, it's key that you have some sort of live connection, I feel. So whether you want to do it on Skype, on the telephone, in person, there needs to be some belly-to-belly communication. And that's really what's going to launch your business. And so at this appointment, you do want to ask a lot of questions. You want to listen. So instead of worrying about what the next question is that you're going to be asking, you need to actively listen to what they're saying, because it's in those key points that you might hear something that really is a trigger, is something that really hits home that you can solve or be a solution for in their world. So you need to actively listen. And you want to go through the health questions for the person as well. So you can find that on our website, just a few key questions if they're going to go ahead and get started. And then, of course, ask qualifying questions for our business partners. And you can also find those on our website as well. But on the call, you can say something like, hi, are you online right now? And you could take them to isamovie.com, and there they can watch one of the movies you selected, such as The Start movie or Are You Toxic?, the Isagenix Vision. And you just stay on the line with them till they're done. And the most important question is to ask after that is, which one got you the most excited? The information on the product or the business or both? Listen. And then you're going to send them the information. So you're going to send them through isaproduct.com, isamovie.com, whichever way that is. And when you're looking to qualify people, you know, some of the traits that I've looked for is committed, coachable, capable, they've got the time, they're entrepreneurial, they're driven, wealth motivated, health conscious. You know, some people have fun as part of their qualifying. But these are the traits that are going to drive your business, because if somebody already is entrepreneurial, they've got that mindset. When we're on the phone, we want to share a 30-second story. And if you have not done your 30-second story, make sure to watch the webinar that just goes through this. But it's really before Isagenix, then I was introduced to Isagenix by, now I feel, and as a result. So make sure you do share your 30-second story on that call or during that connection when you're just creating that first opportunity to set up the appointment. We want to know the Isagenix story, right? So We know that Jim and Kathy Coover are really the ones that headed up the compensation plan, the culture of Isagenix. They've built 3 network marketing companies in the past. John Anderson was the formulator. He has thousands of patents for health and wellness products. The sales have increased in a 12-month period. Isagenix has had a revenue of $500 million, and that steadily increases month over month. And for such a young company, it's exciting to see that. Isagenix has been in a lot of media. They've been in Inc. magazine, they've been in Popular Science, Elle magazine, and won Stevie Awards. They've won awards based on their philanthropy, their business structure, and there's lots of success stories in Isagenix. We also want to know the team story when we're prospecting and connecting. Now, why do we want to know the story about Isagenix and the story about our team? We want to know it because when we're talking to people and they may ask us questions about this, we just need to have some information to share with them about what they're really coming into and how amazing an opportunity it really is. I mean, this company is amazing, and you need to share some of the tidbits of information of how amazing our medical staff is and our advisory board and the leaders that are setting the pace for our culture, our compensation plan, and then our team story, how we're on Susan Sly's team, and that's ISA Team Success. And if you haven't gone to that website, you definitely want to get there and keep in touch and be on her newsletter, right? Because there's daily and weekly support. She's got a Monday night call at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also the health, wealth, and freedom calls that happen every day. There's 12 millionaires when I wrote this webinar, and now there's 13 millionaires in this particular team. Over 50 people have achieved 3-star and above. That's a 6-figure income, and it accounts for over 20% of the global sales volume. So we are on an amazing team that has lots of support, lots of momentum, lots of things happening, and you want to share this. We talked about before in some of the other webinars why the President's Pack is one of the best packs to get started on. You get a free membership. It's really the best value, the best bang for your buck. You get the blender, you get the snacks that people will thank you for. It's tax deductible. It's 300 BV and a PIB of $80. So really take a look at that President's Pack and make sure you know the differences between the weight loss, energy, and performance and healthy aging one. Know what's in it so you can really share this with your people. Eric Worre talks about prospecting and connecting a lot, and he says there's 8 steps in this call that's happening and at the appointment. So at the appointment, step 1 is to be in a hurry. So when we're setting up the appointment and we're on the phone with them now, this isn't an hour call, 2 hours, 5 hours. He really suggests it's about 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, you should be able to ask the right questions, garner the right information, share your 30-second story, figure out what movie they need to get aligned with, figure out their motives, their urgency, what's happening in their life, and this all can be done in a very short period of time, because then you're going to be sending the information to them and following up. So be in a hurry. He also recommends complimenting the prospect. So it can be as simple as, I want to congratulate you on taking the time to look at this and making your health a priority, or your income a priority, or I want to acknowledge you for being open to looking at additional revenue streams. So be authentic, be genuine. It doesn't have to be, some huge, massive compliment on something you don't even know is true or not, and you're just making things up. Just talk about something you know. The next thing is to make the invitation. So if I, and then would you. So if I were to send you some information about the products and for you to watch a movie called Are You Toxic? Would you watch it? Why this question is so important, he says, is that when you get that first yes, you're more likely to get another yes and another yes and another yes. So we're really just setting ourselves up for success, and we're also just seeing how committed they are. If they're kind of like, well, I don't know, I have to see, I don't know what the time is, that person maybe isn't as committed as you thought, and so you can gauge it accordingly. The next thing we want to do is get the time commitment and can confirm that time commitment to actually schedule the follow-up call. And then we just want to get off the phone. So it is a quick process, especially according to Eric Worre. And if you haven't read the book Go Pro by Eric Worre, I highly recommend you pick up that book. Now, we've now found common ground. We've connected with them. We have set up an appointment to share the information. We've gotten on the phone now, we've found out some information about them, and we have sent them the appropriate material, the appropriate stuff to look over. What's next? The follow-up. So the follow-up must occur within 12 to 14 hours. It's got to be right away. When people are excited about something, they don't want people to wait a year, a week, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's got to be within 12 to 14 days. Then we want to send an email, text, Facebook, confirmation, whatever the case is about the call. So, you know, if you talk to the person at 9 o'clock on Tuesday and you're going to be talking to them at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, then maybe on Wednesday morning you want to send them a quick text and say, great chatting with you yesterday. I'm looking forward to talking with you today at 5 o'clock. The follow-up call, you want to allow a little bit more time, so about 30 minutes, because we want to be able to answer their questions for the first half of it, and then we want to be able to enroll them on the second half of it. And of course, we're going to go into that CAPI again. We're going to go into that initial connection, the solution we found at the beginning. We're going to remind them of why they started to look at the information in the first place and what they want to get out of it. Things you can also ask on the follow-up call are, do you have enough information to make a decision today? Are you ready to let Isagenix be part of you? How much money do you have to invest in your health? Are you interested in a healthy lifestyle, weight loss, or anti-aging benefits? Are you open to coaching on the best way to get started in the business? Okay. These are all things you could talk about on that follow-up in closing lines. Over 65% of all sales are made after the fourth follow-up. Wow. Over 65% of all sales are made after the fourth follow-up. That's amazing, because what I've learned in this business is that a lot of people actually don't do the follow-up, but the people who do the follow-up are the ones that are successful. And take a look at the next stat. Over 60% of salespeople fail to follow up more than 3 times. So think about that. If 60% of the people don't follow up after the 3rd time, but 65% of all sales happen after the 4th follow-up, there's a lot of people that are missing out on those people joining their business because they just didn't make one more call. So the bottom line is, if you want to partner with somebody, you have got to follow up. So the next step is really to continue following the systems. So far in this webinar on the prospecting and connecting, we've talked a little bit about STAR, so what we have to do in order to build this business, which is having the skills, the activities, the attitude, and the results. We talked a little bit about knowing your why and how that's important, and make sure you watch that video, because that really is part of prospecting and connecting. And I love the quote that, and I'm not sure who said it, who said, it doesn't matter how long you've been in Isagenix, it's when Isagenix gets into you that matters. And that's really an important part of connecting, because you have to have that passion and excitement. You have to have, you know, that drive that really attracts people and that keeps you going in this business. So when we're prospecting, right, we are finding that CAPI, that common ground. We can use things like, I want you to imagine. So system 1 in prospecting is that CAPI, that connecting process, right? And set your goals. How many people are you going to connect with? Are you going to connect with 5 people a day, 2 people a day? What are you going to do? I know Pamela and Kevin Barnum and Mike and Robin, they connected with 3. So 3 new people, 3 follow-ups a day, 5 days a week. So what are you willing to do? How many connections are you going to make a day? And when I say connections, it's you're actually going to talk to them, not these, I'm going to find somebody on Facebook I haven't talked to for 20 years. No, who are we connecting with? You know, set that goal, right? Setting up the appointment is the next one. So connect, set the appointment, share the information, use your 30-second story, ask the right questions, and then follow up. Have that urgency. Share the urgency with them. Why is it important to get going right now? We never talk people into Isagenix. We talk them out by saying too much. This doesn't have to be a large process. We need to know the Isagenix story. We need to know the team story, right? We need to be able to have the right system for following up and knowing how important it is to follow up 4 or more times if we really want to attract the right people into our organization. So we've really covered quite a few systems in this call, and that's really how to prospect, connect, our 30-second story. And the next webinar that we'll be doing is going to be focusing on objections. So what happens when somebody says no, or they don't have money, or a whole bunch of different objections? So stay tuned for that webinar, and I look forward to chatting with you then.